Welcome to part 2 in this mini-series on rebuilding this Ajax 5-inch gauge steam locomotive. This is the original top of the cab, and if you are riding on an engineer car behind this locomotive, it's going to be very difficult to see what's going on down here, let alone operate any of the controls. If this thing is elevated off the ground, that's one thing, but if this is riding on rails that are on the ground, this is going to be really difficult to work this way. So I'm going to make a different top that's sort of this shape, that's an exaggerated U shape, which will give me access not only to this plenum and all the controls, but the main throttle and putting coal in here, as well as operating the hand pump and the Johnson bar. So all of this stuff needs to be accessible and able to be seen. So let's get started on making a second top for this. I'm not going to harm this one in any way, but let's create a whole new one with a piece of 18 gauge steel. All right, here's the existing cab roof, and I've got some preliminary markings on here, 18 gauge sheet of steel. So the first thing is we want to slice it down this way. Okay, got it flipped around so we can finish the cut, because there's more metal than there is throat on my saw here. Okay, and we're not ready to cut it for final width yet, but front to back is a fairly accurate measurement right now, and we'll have to clean this up. Before I trim it to final size, we need to see if we can introduce a curve to the metal to match the cab roof that we already have. No. No. Judgment. Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks, Bob. Okay. Well, here's a rough piece of new steel. It's kind of oversized, but we've got our gentle arch built into it. I think what I'm going to do now is get some paper, and I think I'm going to make a paper template of this one and locate the holes that need to be drilled, and that way I can draw a pattern on that piece of paper, transfer it onto this, and make some more cuts. Okay, there's the paper template, and I've got it cut and taped to size, and I punched through all of the holes along the two sides, and on the front I don't need the small hole for a little chain on the whistle in the back, because again we're going to have a cutout here. So let me see if I can get the template off and then mark it as to where I want to make my cuts. Well, having a nice sharp razor blade really helped, and I could leave some of the blue tape on the back of our template to give a little reinforcement on the edges. So I'll mark this. That's our front on the top side. So let me mark out the plan. So I've got the template applied directly to the sheet of metal. I've got it marked. I'm going to indicate where the holes all go. And then I'm going to take a razor blade and actually cut the template right while it is taped to my piece of sheet metal. All right, let's do some cutting. Well, there we are. All the rough sanding is done. Still a little hot. I think, my coffee's cold and I could use a sandwich, so I'm going to take a quick break. And then after lunch, we'll see if we can drill out the mounting holes here and see if it fits. The cool thing about this is I haven't really done anything to harm the original cabin top on here, so if I don't like this at all, I can always make another one. Well, I'll see you after lunch. Here's Johnny. Hey, I'm back. So let's get busy and drill out these mounting holes. Get some light on it here. Okay, well, it mostly fits. My recommendation is that when you're dealing with these tiny pieces of hardware that you need an electron microscope to see, it's helpful if they're the same color gray as the concrete floor, so when they drop, they're gone forever. You don't have to bother to look for them. So I think I need to do some hand sanding and touch up on this, and then we might be ready to get it prepared for a finish. Well, I really sanded this a lot because this is a high touch area and we just don't want any sharp edges or anything to really get in the way when hands are touching it. So after the sanding, let's hit it with a little metal prep, and then it should be ready for priming. Remember, do as you oughta, add acid to the water. 1-to-3 mixture here. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Boat Motor. Don't be jealous. I'll get to you right away, I promise. I gotta add some primer to this piece of metal, though. Well, after a few coats of paint, there it is, ready to be attached when that moment comes. I probably won't do much more painting right now because the whole locomotive is sort of a well-worn black, and there's a chance that I may want to take it completely down and change the color scheme, but that will be for later. And I have good access for my hands and for vision. You can see how much gets blocked with the original lid on there, and so now I have not only good sight lines but good access to all the controls. Well, that'll wrap it up for this little mini project. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.